Citi FM, I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Tonight, I'm here with
Akosia Ocho.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, NPP's Kennedy Japan still locked up in meetings at the party's headquarters in what is believed to be a disciplinary committee hearing of the party. We'll be going live to the party headquarters for update. Also coming up, Hoteliers Association members forced to suspend a planned demonstration over claims that the police has failed to provide them with security. And later, on Eyewitness News, we hear from the NDC. It has issues with the National Identification Authority's planned registration exercise. Still with 97.3 Citi FM for more of these and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
analyst calls for cool heads maintaining GMPC Gensa deal.
That's in 15 minutes from the business desk of Citi FM and Citi TV. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations, including in the Western region on Premier 100.5 FM in Takrady, Sky Power 93.5 FM in Takrady, and Beach 105.5 FM also in Takrady. We are in Bono region on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani in Ahafo, on Hames 106.5 FM in Gosu. We are in Ashanti region on Alpha Radio 104.9 in Kumasi, and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we are on Global 105.1 FM in Ho, as well as Adanu 107.7 FM in Adaklu Waya. In the Northern region, we are on Diamond 93.7 FM in Tamale. Upper West, we are on Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura. Upper East on Source 100.1 FM in Boko, and Northeast on Scarp 101.3 FM in Nakbanduri. We are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, we are interactive. Join us on Facebook, on Twitter, beg your pardon, using the hashtag Citi Newsroom. Tweet at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973. On WhatsApp, 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Let's kickstart our news tonight from the New Patriotic Party headquarters. And that's in order because that party has been in the news since the weekend when he went to the polls. Lots of issues arose from there. And we are told today there was a meeting of flag bearer aspirants at the party head office. Everybody is left, we are told, except Kennedy Japan, who is MB for Asin Central. What exactly could be happening? Hansen Ajiman is on the line. He's our reporter who is following proceedings. Hansen, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Sanda.
First of all, tell us about the meeting that happened earlier and then why Ken is still around.
Well, Ken has just left, and the spokesperson for the elections committee, Alexander Fenyamarkin, is addressing the press.
All right, we can take that. We can take that now.
Fruitful engagement, very fruitful. Again, some agents also came out with their reports on certain happenings, isolated cases where they had some difficulties. We heard them. They had an opportunity to give us a full report of what happened. We are going to meet some other members again on Thursday. We also had an opportunity to meet with one of the aspirants who made certain statements, whose statement went viral, and had a positive engagement with him. And I must say that so far, so good. We should be meeting again on Thursday, and once we are done on Thursday, the committee will come out and make known to you its conclusions. But so far, so good. All is well, and we appreciate their cooperation so far, and the atmosphere of engagement has been positive. Tomorrow, we would have also the opportunity to engage higher authorities in the party who were given a mandate by higher authorities in the party. So there's going to be a report to those bodies, and I'm sure we'll take the rest up thereafter. Thank you very much.
Is the meeting with Honorable Kennedy Japan different from the disciplinary committee hearing?
The committee in charge of this election has been given a mandate, and we are on with our mandate, and so far so good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sunday, you have the Alexander Afenyo-Martin, a member of parliament for Equity. He is the spokesperson for the elections committee, giving us an update as to what transpired with the elections committee.
I see. So what that means is that the delay has nothing to do with disciplinary matters.
Essentially, because when we posed the question to him, he didn't directly answer if this was the disciplinary committee's hearing. It suggests that the committee decided to meet the aspirants, and after meeting all aspirants, perhaps took its personal interest in Kennedy Ohene-Agyapong. Now, Kennedy Ohene-Agyapong, when he came out of the parties from the conference room where the engagements were ongoing, we attempted speaking to him, but he said he was not going to give any information or grant an interview to the press. Neither did his campaign manager, Fami Wusu, grant an interview to us. So as it stands now, we cannot confirm or deny if the meeting with Kennedy Agyapong was is the same meeting as the disciplinary committee has invited him. But what we know is that the elections committee used the opportunity to engage him on the outburst and some of the issues he raised. But the committee is reluctant on sharing with us details of what details of what they discussed in that meeting.
Now, the earlier meeting was with all the aspirants, so everybody was there?
That was the indication that we got earlier, but we are not able to say if the invitation was sent to every aspirant, because Mr. Afenyo-Martin also indicated that another set of meetings has been organized with some aspirants on Thursday. But we know that Kojo Poku Safa was here. Again, we know that Kennedy Ohene-Agyapong was here. Representative of Dr. Baumia, Frederick Owari, was also here, as well as representative for Alan Chamartin, the person of Nana Ohene-Agyapong, and also Kenwood, who is a representative for Dr. Owusu-Efia-Akoto, a former voter regional executive of the NPP. He was also here represented Dr. Owusu-Efia-Akoto.
So no indication has been given to us as to whether that vexed issue of a tie between Chairman Tejako and Francis Adainimo, a decision has not been made. We are told the meeting would start from today through tomorrow. No mention of that has been made.
Well, we spoke to the national chairman earlier. He indicated that and gave an indication that the party would have wished if the two of them will come to a decision and a compromise for one to go. But it appears those pleas have fallen on deaf ears so far, and both candidates are willing to go the full haul on September 2nd for the runoff. However, the party would continue with engagements with the National Executive Committee meeting and the National Council's meeting tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Hansen. Do keep an eye on the party headquarters for any further developments that our listeners ought to know, and share that with us. Thank you so much. That's Hansen Ajiman. It's our correspondent who is covering today's meeting of flag bearer aspirants of the NPP and their agents, or their agents at the NPP headquarters. A number of interviews were conducted by Hansen and other journalists who were there. And Akosia, please share with us.
The New Patriotic Party says pleas for either Boakye Agyapong or Francis Adainimo to step down for the other to have so far not been heeded to. The two garnered 9 votes, each forcing the party to schedule Saturday, September 2 for a runoff. The National Executive Committee and the National Council will meet on Wednesday to find a solution to the tie. Here's Stephen Ntin, the chairman of the New Patriotic Party.
Understanding will prevail eventually for the party to move on. That's what I can say for now.
So what was the meeting with the aspirants about?
Today?
Exactly.
The two aspirants.
What was it about?
Oh, it's just a matter of prevailing on them to, if one could give in to the other. But it looks like they are all prepared to go the full haul. So we are getting ready to meet tomorrow. National Council, NEC will meet, followed by National Council, and then trying to find a solution or finality to the dialogue that we are trying to bring forward.
Is the party ready for the elections on Saturday should these two individuals decide that they want to lock arms?
You never know. Somebody can decide to change their mind even as we speak. So otherwise, we are ready. If there's a change in mind, it will be easier for all of us.
Stephen Intim is chairman of the New Patriotic Party. Now, the national organizer of the party, Salam Mustafa, has lashed out at former President John Dramani Mahama for describing the NPP as a violent party. The NDC flag bearer in a Facebook post said violent attacks recorded at some centers is a testament of the violent nature of the ruling Patriotic Party. He cited further the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election violence and the killing of some 8 persons during the 2020 polls.
Rather, the NDC is a very violent party, and it is championed by the same former president. When he opened his mouth and told us, we Ghanaians, the entire world, that the NDC comes from a revolutionary background.
Isn't and that's a fact?
Yes, the NDC, of course, it's true. It comes from a revolutionary background, and that when it comes to unleashing violence, they are second to none. That is true.
But he has explained that they have abandoned those
No.
They
have
abandoned
not.
Those rules and seen democratic credentials.
Unfortunately, they have not. It is part of their DNA. He, John Dramani Mahama himself, once said that, he will kill a fly with a sledgehammer. He, John Dramani Mahama.
That's an expression.
It's not an expression. That's how they think. He is the leader of such a violent party.
Salam Mustafa is the national youth organizer of the New Patriotic Party.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. You're a member of the New Patriotic Party. Events from the weekend and what we are just reporting for you from the party office. Let me know what you think. WhatsApp platform 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. Alternatively, go on Twitter. Use the hashtag Citi Newsroom. Tweet at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973. And let me just say, if you can't find Twitter on your phone, it's because the name has changed. It's now X.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
Your papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry, Chairman Mane. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Technology is shaping the workforce of the future. Are you job market ready? Looking for a career change or want to get into the tech space? The place to start is with ALX. ALX, an Africa Leadership Group initiative in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, is developing a talent pool within the technology sector. ALX offers courses in software engineering, AWS cloud computing, data analytics, and Salesforce administration. This is an opportunity to learn in-demand skills in a changing job market. ALX provides added value in training programs, mentorships, and networking. Apply now and get started on your dream career. Visit www.alxafrica.com to register before the deadline of 12 September 2023.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We are also around the globe on citynewsroom.com. Across Ghana, we are on a number of affiliate stations. Earlier, I gave you a list of stations that you can listen to us on in case you're going outside Accra. We are meanwhile on citynewsroom.com. That's our website. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. Do watch and follow and drop your comments there. Let us know what you make of the big stories we are bringing you tonight. Let's move now to the tourism sector and specifically the hotel industry. And we are told that people who own and run hotels are simply fed up with the utility tariffs that they are having to pay. They planned to embark on a demonstration today, which demonstration failed to materialize. The reason, we are told, police could not provide them with security. Dr. Edward Aka Nyamike is the president of the Ghana Hoteliers Association. He's joined us on the line. Doc, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, my brother.
You were supposed to have a demonstration today.
Well, I wouldn't describe it as a demonstration. What we did was to have a press conference at the International Press Center, and then from there, walk to the PURC, which is just about 1.5 kilometers away from the International Press Center, and then present a petition to the PURC. But the walk did not happen because the police were not there to protect and join the walk, and we didn't want to create a situation, even though we had notified them as required under the Public Order Act. Okay, but so we went on a bus and then sent the petition to the PURC. They received it all right. Interesting enough, the police were there waiting for us when we got there. But we did what we had to do. So we presented the petition.
I see. How many people are we talking about here?
You mean those of us who went there?
Yes, those of you who plan to go on the walk.
Oh, we were up to about 100.
You wrote to the police. How many days ago since you wrote to the police to notify them?
We went strictly by the Public Order Act, which says 5 days notice. But we sent it on 14th August. So
okay.
2 weeks away.
I see. And did they reply you in writing, the police?
Unfortunately, see, and that is where I'm very displeased with the police. They invited us for a meeting. They did not respond officially with a letter, but they invited us for a meeting. Now, when we went for the meeting, couldn't convene it because the commander was not there, and the deputy commander was also not prepared to have the meeting without the commander. So we're rescheduled for another day on Wednesday. Again, we went, they couldn't organize it. So yesterday when they called, we went there again and they said there was going to be a Homo War celebration, so they cannot really meant to protect us, so we should reschedule the work. And we said we couldn't reschedule the press conference, neither could we reschedule the work. But when we were done with the press conference, we decided that it's not a good idea to go to the PRC, to work the PRC without police protection. So they failed to undertake their duties as enshrined in the Constitution.
Very well. Now let's talk about the crux of your campaign. What were you going to tell the PURC? What exactly is your difficulty, or what has been affecting the industry that you wanted to highlight by that mass action?
Very simple. You know, the PURC announced quarterly adjustment in tariff last year, August, thereabouts. Now, in January, they announced one effective 1st February, and it was 8.3% upward adjustment for water. The February bill came, and then we realized that our rates had, the water tariff had gone up by 167% against the 8.3% that they announced. So all we are asking for is for the PURC to revert to that 8.3%. Because, and that, we did that also because they said they did some recategorization of consumers, moving us from the non-residential category to commercial category. Okay, so we are simply pushing for them to revert that 167% increase to the 8.3% increase, which is very fair expectation from a responsible commission, which is supposed to regulate the increase.
How has this increase been affecting the industry generally? Paint a picture for us.
Right. So the industry, the hotel industry, uses lots of input for its work. Utilities is just one of them. So electricity and water is there. And then you get onto taxes, and then you get onto salaries, you get onto all the other things, amenities and maintenance and all that. Now, all of these put together constitute our operational cost, which is very high already, very, very high. So a slight change in any of those variables, a slight, especially with the utilities, because you see, with the hotel sector, you don't have much control on some of the utilities that your guests will use. And I'll give an example. Like if you go into a hotel room, if a guest gets into a hotel room and decides to stay the whole period in that room, you are in trouble. Okay? So any slight change in any of the utilities creates challenges for us. And that is what that February 167% increase created for us. Because it was not something that we were expecting, we did not anticipate it at all. So what it means is that most of the hotels, okay, who, let's say, had scheduled to pay, say, 2,000, that's what they've been paying, they were just expecting an 8.3% increase over the 2,000. Now had to pay 167% over the 2,000. They are finding challenges paying it, and the Ghana Water Company is chasing them, and that's why I keep saying that they have created debts for the hotels. That's 167. And it wasn't for only February, but for February, March, April, and May. So that debt is lying there. Who should pay it? When we were not told that was the quantum of increase that we were going to receive or experience. So, my brother, that is how it's affecting us. It has simply increased our operational costs. And remember that utilities, especially when there's an increase, it has that ripple effect. Okay, it's another ripple effect because you have various vendors, you have various suppliers who also depend on these utilities. So you are paying more for water and electricity, and then and are taking their services to you too. They are also paying more, so they are also charging you more. So eventually, you bear the brunt of all of this.
Is it the case that the issue with the utilities is more problematic for you than the taxes that have been imposed generally? Because taxes are also having an impact generally on businesses. Are you saying that what you are suffering from the increase in utilities is worse than what the taxes are doing to your industry?
It's the same thing. You know, the PURC issue was just one was just one of the issues that probably received the headline. But we also talked about the COVID-19 1% levy, which is still sitting in our tax books. Okay, even though the COVID-19 is over, the WHO has declared that it's over. Okay, so it's not to say that the other taxes are not hurting us. They are. But this time around, probably we decided to use this water issue as a case study to draw attention to all the other levies and taxes that we are having to bear with.
Has a PURC said anything to you in response, or you would expect that in written form later?
Well, when we gave the petition to them, like I said, when we got there, they came down to meet us and received it. When they received it, the gentleman, is it Emmanuel Fiasi or so, he said that they indicated receipt of the petition and said they will look at it and respond to us accordingly and appropriately.
So until that is done and the reversal is announced, the guests and various clients of your hotels would have to bear the brunt.
Exactly, my brother. Because we will have to survive as a business. We will have to pay our salary. We will have to maintain the facilities. We will have to pay our suppliers, our vendors, and all that. So until those things are resolved, we will have to look at a combination of the inflows and outflows that will keep us in business. So yes, our rest of the clients will also have to be the better.
You pass on the cost.
Well, if you don't pass on the cost, what would you do? It's either sometimes hotels will want to reduce their profit margin so that they can cushion their customers. But what extent can you do it? Because you have investors also breathing on your neck to make sure that you are giving them returns on their investment. So one way or the other, somebody has to pay. So if the hotels cannot cushion that much, then the customers will have to come in because they are the ones who help the business to survive. It's just what it is, actually.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, and we wish you all the best.
My pleasure, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
That's Dr. Edward Aka Nyamike. He is the president of the Ghana Hoteliers Association. They submitted a petition today to the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC. Now, Dr. Eric Obute is the Director of Research and Corporate Affairs at the PURC. Doc, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much.
The hotel owners and managers say that an approval that you give to the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Ghana Water Company is running their businesses aground, and that if you do not intervene, there may be a problem in the sector. They have penned down a petition that they brought to you. I'm sure by now you may have seen it. What is the reaction of the PURC to that?
Well, thank you very much for having me. And first, I would like to state that categorically, in our press release, the electricity tariff review of 4.2% was applicable only non-residential customers who were not part of the tax line. Sorry.
Doc, I seem to be losing you. The line is breaking. I don't know if you're in motion.
No, that's because I'm anywhere near. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please. It's better. If you could just remain at the same spot, I'll be grateful.
Okay. Then the tariff review of 4.2% in electricity was applicable or is applicable to only residential customers who are not part of the lifeline tariffs. Lifeline tariffs being 0 to 30 kilowatt hours. So all other classes, apart from this class, remain the same. Industrial classes, we stated clearly that those hotels, barbering shops, what do we call this? Dressmaking, salons, those ones, industries, they are all zero. There's no change in their tariff in the case of electricity. And that the tariff change in the case of electricity only applicable to residential customers who are not lifeline consumers. The case of water, the tariff applies to the 1.18 applies to all other classes except those who are the lifeliners. That's 0 to 5 cubic meters of consumption. Those who are in that particular class, it applies to them. So in the case of electricity, I don't see exactly what the hoteliers say their cases, because we have not done anything to show that their tariffs in the case of electricity have changed. If it's in the case of water, yes, it has changed marginally. But if it's in the case of electricity, nothing has changed for the hoteliers.
That's interesting. So the over 100% he quoted is not something that you have approved, but they are being charged for the same?
No, that is an issue which is long-standing. That's an earlier tariff and not now. Right now, the tariff is 4.22%. The earlier one that they are referring to of 167, 8.3%, those are ones that they petitioned us earlier on. And we've discussed it. We've tried to resolve the issue. And I don't see where the issue is coming up at this point in time again. But, well, they've presented a petition to the commission, so the commission will take a look at it and come back to them on that particular. But for this particular tariff review, the 4.22% does not apply to the hoteliers.
So this petition they brought you, the content you reckon are the same as the issues that arose in the past which have been dealt with? Is that what you're suggesting?
Can you come again? I didn't.
Are you saying that this issue that they raise now were issues that had been raised in the past, which issues have already been dealt with?
Yes, these are issues which are already there with the commission. They have petitioned the commission on this, the past tariff. That's the second quarter, the first quarter tariff. They petitioned the commission on it. We have had discussions with them. We have engaged them at a particular point. We have engaged them with the utility companies. So it's something which we have tried to deal with. And it has got nothing to do with this particular tariff.
Very well. Thank you so much. By what time would you be able to deal with their issues and give them a response? Because they say that is really a huge impact on their business.
Well, the issue is that one, to the best of my knowledge, has been dealt with, because previously I know that, for instance, their tariff was about 45 cedis per cubic meter. Then they petitioned the commission. It was lowered down, and the commission had engagement with GWCL. It was lowered down to about 30, and currently I think it's in the region of 25 cedis per cubic meter. And the cubic meter we are talking of is 1,000 liters, which is 220 gallons of water. So, I mean, what they are paying now, to the best of my knowledge, is about 25 cedis to the per cubic meter. That's what they are paying now. So, that's what I'm saying. They are petitioning the commission. We will need to take time and look at it and see exactly, call them and see exactly what they are looking for. Because to the best of my knowledge, those issues have been dealt with in the past.
I find what you're saying is a bit strange, because I just spoke to the hotel's president a short while ago, and if you don't mind, I would be happy to just ask him these issues you just raised. If you don't mind, I'll go to the other line and speak to him while you hold on.
That's okay.
Thank you. That's Dr. Eric Obute. He's still on the line with me. Dr. Edward Akanyamike, I spoke to you a short while ago. You gave me the impression the new tariffs approved were in the excess of 100%, which is affecting your business. I have on the other line the director of research at PURC. He says the issues you're raising are issues which are in the past, which have since been dealt with. And to the best of his knowledge, you are not supposed to pay anything beyond 4% for electricity. Can you...
Okay, let me make this clarification. I indicated earlier on that our issue is not about this recent adjustment, which takes effect from 1st September. Our issue is about the 1st February adjustment. February, March, April, May adjustment, which PRC announced 8.3% upward adjustment, and then it turned out to be 167% because they had put us in a new category. That is the issue we are battling with, not the 4% or 1.18% increase for 1st September.
So the percentage you're fighting is the 8% plus, not 100% plus.
No. You see, In January, TRC announced 8.3% increase in water tariff. When our bills came, the increase was 167%. 167%. So that is what we are fighting against. That's not the recent one.
Okay, that's fair enough. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
You're welcome.
That's Dr. Edward Akanyamike, is president of the Ghana Hoteliers Association. Dr. Eric Obute, I think he solves our problem now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's Dr. Eric Obute. He's Director of Research and Corporate Affairs at the PURC. This is Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Yeah, Charlie, so many vibes and I bontin father, my sanaba. My many papa and you're not for more fear no more acquaintum. Trebiania, so a maniscaco fear and fancy than near fear for a bit for Jawisi no parking. A bear man Sujai Casa. Thanks to Sukasa, how to your nature. Sukasa Sia Dan Brony friend affordable luxury homes, or more 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, where you're fully gated or grants and communities, or more malls, clubhouse, and all social amenities, plus 24-hour security. Almost our flexible payments, and yeah, no my dear at Dow Casa. Plus 100% guaranteed cashback. Yes, 100% guaranteed cashback. No quick one-answer stories. Contact Sukasa right now through phone calls or WhatsApp on 030-296-0865 and 055-369-7886. Charlie social media so more, baby. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Sukasa GH. Email Susi at info@sukasa.com.gh. Sukasa, building on trust.
When shopping for a dress, you say,
of course, the low burst line. A little tight by the hips. Covered sleeves. Off shoulder. Definitely.
But when buying anti-malarial drug, you say,
is it not malaria? Give me whatever is available.
Choose your malaria drugs the same way you choose your dress. Always ask for Coartem. It's also available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets for children. Don't gamble with malaria. Choose right. Choose Coartem. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Malaria testing should be done before treatment. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, Auntie Araba. Hey, Bugger, how are you doing today? I want to buy Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, but I don't have enough money. So what are you going to do? Can you give me the big size? You know, as for me, I'll pay the balance later.
Today, no credit. I haven't sold much this morning. If you don't have enough money for the big size, why don't you try the 120-gram pack?
There's a 120-gram pack? Introducing the new Pepsodent Cavity Fighter in 120-gram pack size. More affordable and convenient. Get yours today from any supermarket near you. Every smile matters. This advert is FDA approved.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Now, the Northeast Regional Office of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, says it is encountering challenges assessing some parts of the region that were affected by recent floods. Communities including Tanguri on the Walewale and Nalerigo Highway were submerged after the downpour, consequently restricting access to adjoining communities. Speaking to City News, the Northeast Regional Director for NADMO, Al-Hassan John Kweku, highlighted his office intervention in providing relief to the affected residents.
Some of the communities are not accessible, so we are unable to go there. If you look at the Yinyo Nason district, for instance, the Eastern Corridor route, that is the portion of the roads have been washed away, so making it difficult for people to apply on the route and also to get to certain communities. You know, most of the people to depend on the markets. So, and the main market there is the Bentry, the Nanson, and then the Gushegu market. So, if you want to access Bentry from Napanduri, then you may have to pass through Nalerigo, which is making it difficult for the people of that area. So, it's not an easy thing, but, you know, they are coping up with the situation, and not much we are on the ground.
Meanwhile, residents along the White Volta and its adjoining communities have been advised to evacuate to safer grounds following the spillage of the Bagri Dam.
they opened the Bagri Dam too, and then yesterday the updates we got was that the water upstream level also keep on rising. So there is the possibility for them during the spillage, and the volumes of water that will come could also affect residents living along the White Volta. So the sensitization is also ongoing. We have always engaged residents along the White Volta to evacuate to safe havens, and those who are living low lands should also move to higher grounds. And then those who have their farms along the White Volta should also move to higher grounds for them not to be affected when the water comes. And when it happens like that too, natural habitats of reptiles is also being disturbed. So we have asked the residents to be on the alert and to be on the lookout so that they are not affected by these reptiles.
That was the Northeast Regional National Disaster Management Organization's Director, Al-Hassan John Kweku. Now, the minority in Parliament says they are ready to stage their protest at the headquarters of the Bank of Ghana on September 5, despite pleas disapproval to the proposed routes for the demonstration. The opposition party in Parliament has been citing reckless management of the central bank and the 60 billion losses incurred in its 2022 financial report. It, however, issued a 21-day ultimatum to Dr. Ernest Addison and the governor of the Bank of Ghana and his deputies to resign or face their wrath. With less than a week to the protest, the minority group says the security zone reasons given by the police are troubling and are not convinced with the alternate routes provided. Roxy Nelson Dafiamekpo speaks for the minority.
When they sent us a letter after the meeting to indicate that they were going to give us a new route for which we would have to proceed in the course of the march, was unacceptable to us. So we have responded to that letter. They are yet to react to the letter that we sent. The date is approaching, so we are prepared, and we think that the police, under the relevant laws, ought to provide their duty and the law to safeguard our safety in the course of the march.
Why are you still bent on using that same route to
We are
embark on
not,
your protest?
the law is very clear on this matter. Go and read NPP versus IGP. The Supreme Court has said that we do not need a police permit. All you need is to notify the police. That's according to the law.
But for security reasons.
We are not seeking police permits to go and to march to Bank of Ghana. We are not asking for a permit. We are just notifying the police as the law requires.
Roxy Nelson Dafiamekpo is a member of the minority in Parliament representing the people of South Dai. Now, the Domestic VAT Compliance Task Force of the Ghana Revenue Authority has taken strong action against retail shops at Anya and Awoshi enclaves in the Greater Accra region. During their visits, the task force targeted 6 non-compliant shops that were not adhering to Section 41 of the VAT Act. It was revealed that none of the sales made had proper records of VAT payments due to the state. Here are excerpts from the confrontations that unfolded.
All that I witnessed buying from you is just between 30 minutes. Now and 30 minutes. And you are telling me that this is the receipt you issued. And I'm saying that, listen, the time on this receipt is 8:31. Far earlier.
But Daddy, this is now because the light is off. When you buy, we don't give the receipt. No, we don't have. It's printed machine. So we print it. It's only one. We don't have duplicate. And then we give it up. And please you wait. So this is a warehouse. For now, the light is off. So this is what I am using for now. But this one maybe. Let's assume it's from your company when they come to buy and you requested for manual receipt because the printing receipt, when you keep it, it wipes away. Then I will rewrite to you from this place.
You see, this clearly shows that you don't have the authorization to issue your own invoice from the system, because if you have, you know the do's and don'ts. When you are given the authorization to use your own machine to issue a receipt, a till receipt, you are also mandated to buy our manual invoice. Yes, so that in case you have challenges like what you just spoke about, you can issue the manual.
You had excerpts of an engagement between GRA officials and shop owners at Awoshi in the Greater Accra region. Now, another shop manager expressed frustration about what they perceive as lack of education from the GRA regarding VAT compliance.
I went there. When I went, they didn't tell us that after you bought the things from your suppliers and pay VAT, pay another those who come here issue them VAT invoice. They didn't. If now that you are introducing it now, that is when you have to come to us or you have to invite us. Then you explain things to us. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah. But you can't come just one day and tell me that do I issue VAT? Do I do this? With that, and I don't know. Me ignorant. I mean, you know. It don't mean bad with giddy. Do you get me? Yen ye tia tax no. Say who tia tax na say nipa na who tia tax no. Amano no ebe yo to say as if say we are criminal. Is it not hurting?
That was a shop manager at Awoshi in the Greater Accra region. Now, Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana wants government to clarify its intention to increase more jobs within the second program of the Planting for Food and Jobs, which will run for the next 5 years. The phase, which was launched yesterday, is expected to engage more than 1.2 million farmers in the first year with an annual revenue or average of over 200,000 new farm-related jobs in the next 4 years. In an interview with Citi Business News, the executive director for the Peasant Farmers, Charles Nyaba, called on government to clearly define the employment of the workforce in phase 2 of the program.
When we talk about informal sector jobs, usually it's very difficult to be able to talk with certainty. Apart from that, definition of the type of jobs that it will provide usually is not too clear. So we don't know whether we are talking about if I'm able to increase my farm sizes and now I have to engage additional labor to do fertilizer application, to do planting, to do harvesting. Is it a job that I created? Or it is a case that if people who were not into farming, because they are able to now get fertilizer, seeds, and land preparation on credit, they will now go into farming. So in that case, we are talking of permanent jobs. So if the definition of jobs is not clearly made from the onset, it will be difficult for me to talk with certainty what they said they are going to do, whether it is practicable or not.
Executive Director for the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Charles Nyaba.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adaraka in Accra. We are also around the globe on citinewsroom.com. We are interactive. Join our social media platforms and drop your messages there. Let's move on to some other stories now. And there's this issue that has been taken to court. It has to do with the declaration of assets. As a public officer, you ought to declare your assets so that if there's any accusation that you may have amassed wealth, it can be tested against what you recorded officially before taking up such a public appointment. The ASEPA is suing the Attorney General over this. The group maintains that the law is too wide or too wide and not restrictive enough, and this could be affecting the asset declaration matters of members of the public who are public office holders. Mensa Thompson is the executive director of ASEPA, and he's the one who is leading the charge as a public accountability organization. He's leading the charge and asking that the Attorney General answer some questions on this, or at least the law is tweaked on that. He's joined us on the line. Mr. Thompson, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Maru. Many thanks for having me.
Okay, so just to be clear, the fact that you are suing the AG does not mean you are suing the AG as a person. You are using that to sue the state so that some corrections can be done. Is that the understanding I should get from you?
Indeed.
Okay, so explain further what your difficulty with the asset declaration law is.
Well, what we've basically done is to invoke the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, subject to constitutional interpretation, to set clarity on our current asset declaration law, If you read the Constitution of the Republic 1992, Article 286 is very clear on asset declaration. It says public office holders must declare their assets and liabilities before taking office as public office holders. That's Article 286. It's very clear. Now, we all know that Parliament also sometimes, when the Constitution set a provision, Parliament will enact laws to further guide, the operation of those provisions. And so the law that Parliament made, on asset declaration is called Public Office Holders Declaration of Assets and Disqualification Act at 550, which was passed in 1998. And the provision of Act 550 created a 6-month window for public office holders, saying that they can declare their assets and liabilities, and those declarations must be filed within 6 months upon coming into office, or 6 months after coming into office. That is where the difficulty is, because the Constitution says you must declare your assets and liabilities before coming into office as a public office holder, mandated under Article 286 Clause 5 to declare your assets and liabilities. Then Act 550 is saying that, within 6 months after coming into office, you can file your declaration. That is where we believe the inconsistency arises. And to the extent that the Act 550 is at par or contravenes the explicit provisions of Article 286, what we are praying the Supreme Court to do is to bring clarity to this matter and enforce the supremacy of the constitutional provisions under Article 286.
So in practical terms, what do you want to see happening henceforth if the law is tweaked to the in the way that you are requesting it be tweaked?
So first off, we want the Supreme Court to further enforce that public office holders must declare their assets and liabilities before coming into office as enshrined in Article 286. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to the declaration itself, the problem is that we've had a number of cases that we have taken to charge that the public office holders declare their assets and liabilities way after the 6 months period. But in essence, when they were doing the declaration, they filed their declaration, that is their status, their asset and liability position at the time of declaration. Meanwhile, the law says your status, your liabilities and asset position before taking office. So there are two things here. The period of the declaration and also the declaration itself. Because now, what 550 is saying is that you can declare within 6 months. We know 6 months is a long time in the life of a public office holder to gather enough assets or reduce their liabilities. We know it's a long time for a lot to happen within 6 months, especially looking at what is going on currently in our governance dispensation. It's a long time. Now, assuming a public office holder have occupied an office for 5 months, and the person is now going to file their declaration, they now go and file a declaration on their current status at the time of the declaration. But what the law seeks to enforce is what was your asset position before taking office? Because that is what the entire asset declaration mechanism is. It's a public accountability mechanism to check what people have before they come into office and what they're able to gather when they come in. And so once that confusion sets in, it's very difficult to track and ensure that the accountability mechanism which the law is supposed to provide is working. And so we want the Supreme Court to also make a declaration on that as well. And then among other things, we want the Supreme Court to also now order all public office holders who file their declarations pursuant to the defective law in Act 550 to go back and file their their assets and liabilities declarations as at the time they were taking, or before they took office, what were the assets they have? What did they have? And not at the period when they were declaring, but what did you have before you were coming to occupy that position? Not what you have after coming into the office and within 6 months you were declaring what you had. And so we want that clarity, and we believe that will further strengthen the asset declaration regime that we have. Even though Parliament is currently working on a public office holders bill, we think that this clarity by the Supreme Court will be a very good thing for our public accountability.
It's good you mentioned Parliament, because that's what I was going to go to. Why don't you go to your MP and ask them to bring a private member's bill to make those demands become law, rather than going to bother the Supreme Court?
So there are two things here. The Constitution, the supremacy of the Constitution must be enforced, and the Constitution has said that anytime you feel that any law made by Parliament or anybody is found to be inconsistent with any provision of the Constitution, you must go to the Supreme Court and ask the Supreme Court to set clarity on that. So that's one mechanism. Two, we also know that Parliament is currently working on the Code of Conduct for Public Office with the bill. And I've had the privilege to review some of the bills, and we believe that the problem which we've taken to court now is still in there. The law that Parliament is making now on asset declaration is still weak. And Omaru, you know why it's weak? It's weak because the people who this law is supposed to provide check and balance mechanisms, are basically the same people making the law. And they know how to make the law to ensure that the law would not work. And so if we have an avenue like this, where we can use to set clarity and say, look, the Constitution is the benchmark. Once the Constitution says declared before you come into office, that must be done. And then all the laws that are further going to be made by a Parliament or by anybody else will conform to the provisions of the Constitution. So that is what we are seeking from the Supreme Court.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's Mensah Thompson. He's Executive Director of the Alliance for Social Equity and Public Accountability, also known as ASEPA. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We have more coming your way. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens. Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
It's time for Citi Business News and Eyewitness News, powered by citibusinessnews.com. Coming up. Now, in the news, in the wake of the controversy surrounding the gas sales agreement between the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation and Gensa Energy Ghana Limited, energy analyst Benjamin Insia has stressed the need for stakeholders to engage in constructive dialogue to address the concerns. His response comes in the wake of claims made by the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, and Imani Center for Policy, who accused the energy minister of inconsistencies during his appearance before the Parliamentary Select Committee on Mines and Energy last year. Speaking to Citi Business News, the energy analyst said despite the apparent intricacies brought about by negotiated discount arrangements, the gas sales agreement may not be as problematic as it seems.
So one, we must know that Gensa Energy Ghana Limited is a Ghanaian-owned private company. And for that matter, any information put out there could cause it in terms of making sure that we have profitable private sector stakeholders within the petroleum upstream. And I think that all stakeholders, be it the Ministry of Energy, the ACEP, Imani, be it Gensa Energy Ghana Limited, be it GMPC, be it the minority in Parliament, be it the Energy Committee itself, need to sit and then actually trash out the grievances or the concerns they have with this particular report. But for where I sit as Director of the Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy, I think that there's no any issue with this particular contract, and the contract is seen as very problematic because of the complexities and the discounts arrangement between the parties in this particular arrangement.
You heard energy analyst Benjamin Insia. Now, Ghana Real Estate Developer Association (GREDA) has cautioned industry players within Ghana's real estate sector to be mindful of the funding sources for their business. The call comes after Ghana was removed from a European Union money laundering list following the Financial Action Task Force review of the country's effort in resolving the strategic shortcomings in the anti-money laundering financing. Executive Secretary of GREDA, Samuel Amegayibo, says real estate agencies must be guided.
It will be important for all of us here, especially real estate developers, to be mindful of how we transact our business and not just be interested in the money alone, but to be interested in the source of the money that comes into the business. It goes a long way. What money launderers do is eventually end up in terrorism finance. So even the safety of all of us is very important, and we must be mindful of it. Now there's a law. We've passed an Act of Real Estate Agency. So the Real Estate Agency Act 2020 Act 1047 has been passed. And this law has to be read in tandem with the Anti-Money Laundering Act as well, so that real estate developers must be aware of their responsibilities in the daily transaction in real estate, and that there are certain responsibilities placed on them to ensure that money launderers are kept away from their transactions. And we must do our best to adhere to these laws. Very particularly thrilled by the partnership and what it is benefiting this arrangement, where Universal Motors and Meraki has partnered with Lagos to do this beautiful project. I have gone through it briefly, and I'm amazed at the quality of work that has been delivered here.
That was Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Developer Association, GREDA, Samuel Amegayibo. He was speaking at the grand unveiling of newly constructed state-of-the-art Ebelas residence in Cantonment. Now, policymakers in the data protection space are being encouraged to deepen collaborations that safeguard the data of children across the country. This, according to the Africa Digital Rights Hub, a non-profit think tank, says it will ensure that children optimize the usage of internet-related platforms while being protected. Teki Akwete is the director of Africa Digital Rights Hub, and she made these comments at the launch of the Young People, Privacy and Trust in Ghana report here in Accra.
We are not adequately protecting their data or their information when it comes to their online activities. And so this is essentially a clarion call to policymakers and agencies that are required to protect children and their online activities to do a lot more. If you had heard, the children made some 8 principal recommendations that we need to ensure that there's transparency and adequacy around how their information is used. We need to ensure that their information is adequately protected. We need to ensure that when they are not using the information, it should be deleted and not kept and used to create a digital footprint of who they are and all of that.
That was the Executive Director of Africa Digital Rights Hub, Teki Akwete. Now, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana says it's hopeful the phase 2 of government's Planting for Food and Jobs program will yield better results than the previous years. The association has therefore called on its members to take part in the reviewed scheme. Speaking to Citi Business News, the president of the association, Dr. Charles Singaba, said he is optimistic that the second phase would yield the intended results.
We, as Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, actually submitted recommendations to the ministry that the way the Planting for Food and Jobs was going, it was just waste of the taxpayer money, and that there was a need for review. Farmers had a full benefit of the Planting for Food and Jobs 1. That was in 2017 and 2018, when fertilizer was subsidized 50%. Seeds were subsidized 50%. Subsequently, we realized that the subsidy component itself has reduced significantly, less than 15% in some cases. Apart from reduction in the subsidy component, the quality of inputs that are supplied on the Planting for Food and Jobs was just bad. So farmers actually lost confidence in the Planting for Food and Jobs phase 1. One of the critical areas that I'm impressed about is giving guarantee letters for private people like the farmers to be able to access loan with interest-free to purchase these inputs of their own choice. Once that is done, it's going to go a long way to address the major challenge with farming in Ghana, which has to do with access to credit for the beginners.
That was Dr. Charles Nyamba. He's Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association, speaking to City Business News. Well, that's how we wrap up City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. My name is Akosia Otri. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, your Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Tell you guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz. And he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation Movement World Cup like that? Sorry, Chairman. Hey, Chairman! Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Hello, Auntie Araba. Hey, Bugger, how are you doing today? I want to buy Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, but I don't have enough money. So what are you going to do? Can you give me the big size? You know, as for me, I'll pay the balance later. Today, no credit. I haven't sold much this morning. If you don't have enough money for the big size, why don't you try the 120-gram pack? There's a 120-gram pack? Introducing the new Pepsodent Cavity Fighter in 120-gram pack size. More affordable and convenient. Get yours today from any supermarket near you. Every smile matters. This advert is FDA approved.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Be there as it happens.
Tonight on Point Blank, we have two issues for you. We hear from the President and his Minister of Transport. There's some business around the ports. We'll be hearing about that, the maritime issue. But before then, the NDC has issue with the 2024 election. And this has to do with the card that you would need to go and vote, the voter's card. There's a limited registration that the EC is planning. The National Democratic Congress has issue with that. The Director of Legal Affairs of the National Democratic Congress is Edwiji Kujo Tamaklo. He's joining us on the line. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Maro.
Congratulations to you. You just got a new job at the party office. How is it coming?
Consistent with the work that we've been doing. So we are encouraged to do more.
I see. Talk to us about your difficulties with the limited registration the EC is planning to roll out.
Okay, so Umar, once again, good evening to your listeners. As you are aware, the last time that we've had a voter registration exercise in this country was the year 2020. Now, so for the year 2021, 2022, and this year, the constitutional requirement for continuous registration has not happened. Now, just a few weeks ago, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission at the press conference announced that the commission will be embarking on limited registration exercise, particularly ahead of the district assembly election. As part of the modality, the chairperson gave an indication that the election will be happening in the district offices of the Electoral Commission. Clearly, we consider that position to be unacceptable. That position has the tendency to disenfranchise as many of the young persons who have turned 18 and above. And as you're aware, the various political parties, with the exception of the MPP, have already had a press conference and given an indication to the Electoral Commission that by resorting to the district offices alone, many of our people are going to be disenfranchised. And therefore, we are pleading with the Electoral Commission, as it were, to expand the numbers to include electoral areas. Omaru, thankfully, you are from the Shai Osudoku enclave. The district office there is in somewhere Dodoa. Imagine somebody having to leave Doyomo right to Dodoa in order to just get a voter's card. That alone is enough to discourage the person. Imagine somebody having to move from Akusi or Esuchari right to somewhere around either Dodoa or Odumase, from Akusi to Odumase, in order to get a voter's card. That alone can discourage the person. So we are saying that instead of limiting the matters to only the assembly office in Odumase, expand the process to include Akuse, include Eshikare, include Doyomo, include Shai Doku, and all those places, so that it becomes easier for persons who have turned 18. You want to encourage as many people to take part in the democratic process. And so you do not want to put impediments in their way. I give a classic example. If you go to a place like Nkwanta South, the district office is at Nkwanta. Now, if someone had to move from Brewoniase to Nkwanta South, that's about 47 kilometers, in order to get a voter's card. You have discouraged that person, that 18-year-old. And this is the time that the Electoral Commission, as part of its core mandate, should begin to look at ways to encourage more of our people to partake in the democratic process. That should be part. And so if you look at Article 47, the rights of Article 45 and the rest, the question of registration of people, it should be an expansive thing. It should not be the workings of the Electoral Commission to ensure that people are discouraged from getting to register. If you pick a classic constituency like Dome Kwabenya, which is even in Greater Accra, Umaru, look at where the district office is, Abokobi. You are having to move somebody from the old Peace FM, which is part of Domikwabenya, to move to Abukubi in order to get a voter's card. You are having to move somebody from Taifa to Abukubi in order to get a voter's card. You are having to move somebody from Domi to Abukubi in order to get a voter's card. Look at a constituency like Bole Bamboy. From Bamboy to Bole, the district capital, is 130 kilometers, Umaru. It costs you in and out almost 80 cities to move from Bamboy to Bole. Babatu, they call it Bebeto, to Bole, that's about 150 kilometers within the same constituency. And so we are simply saying that in good conscience, Madame Jane Mensah must come off her high horse and appreciate the geographical dynamics of the country that she is the chairperson of, and not limit her understanding of Ghana to be possibly airport residential area. That no, Ghana is bigger than airport residential area. Ghana is geography. Makes it impossible for certain people to even get essential service. Go to Afram Plain South. To move from the Dija Island, Omar, to Donko Group, it's no joke at all. So this, and you see, Omar, the interesting thing is that just 2020, taxpayers in this country gave Jane Mensah $74 million to purchase biometric registration kits. These kits are barely 3 years old. So there is no problem whatsoever about availability of equipment. Because these are brand new equipment that were just purchased in the year 2020 and used only for the 2020 registration exercise. So it cannot be a question of lack of logistics. No, it cannot be.
Have we in the past, Eduji, how was it done? Limited registration has always been at EC offices, isn't it? So why asking for this expansion now?
No. Limited registration exercise has never been limited to district offices. In fact, in the year 2019, the first time Madame Jane Mensah, having been appointed, decided to do limited registration exercise. She wanted to limit it to district offices. I recall vividly, led by my senior doctor, Dominic Ayene. We went to the Supreme Court in the case of Ayuba versus Electoral Commission and Attorney General. When we challenged her decision there in 2019 to do the limited registration exercise in the various districts, just when the injunction application was removed, she filed an affidavit in opposition and now expanded the numbers. The processes, these are public record. She expanded the numbers beyond the district offices. So what has changed? What has changed? And this was even in 2019. I am saying that by 2020, she had gotten money to buy enough registration kits. So that cannot even be a concern as to lack of logistics. No. So there's no legitimate basis to limit, unless, of course, it's diabolical, mischievous, to ensure a deliberate, attempt to disenfranchise as many. In fact, the record will show that any limited registration exercise, it is estimated that we should be registering 2.4 million registrable persons. So why would you want to take an initiative that prima facie on the face of it, by reason of the geography, distance in this country, you would be limiting the opportunity of people to get registered in order to exercise their legitimate right to vote?
Okay.
I mean, clearly, you can see that Madame Jane Mensah and her commissioners are on the path that clearly does not portend well for the forward march of our democratic experiment.
It seems it's going to be a difficult one for you. You have, as a party, boycotted IPAC. That is where you could raise these issues. You're not going to go to IPAC. Do you not think you should deal with these matters on a one-on-one basis, first of all, and if that fails, then you proceed to the court rather than using the court as a first resort?
First of all, Madame Jane Mensah had made it clearly that she is not bound by the decisions of IPAC. You've not heard her before.
But that is a fact. That is a fact, isn't it?
So why do you want me to go to a platform that the commissioner says is not bound by it?
Because you try to convince her.
No, Omaru, from your own concession, you admit that she does not see that the decision coming from IPAC to be one binding of her. So, would you want to engage in such an enterprise knowing that it is just going to be a misadventure? Clearly, her posturing, her body language does not suggest one that is amenable to good conscience and good reason. And it is not fair. Omaru.
So, have you filed the papers in court, or this is just a warning to the EC that if they do not do what you are asking, you'd show up in court?
As you are aware, the NDC as a political party has the opportunity to use any legitimate process available under the laws of this country. These processes are not limited relative to only judicial or court processes. And so all the cards will be on the table. What we want is a commission that is amenable and open to reason. And it shouldn't be difficult for anybody who means well to appreciate that to move from Akuse to Dumase, it's not a joke. That to move from Doyumo to Dodowa, it's not a joke. I mean, this is so basic. This is so basic that we should not even have a long, drawn-out conversation about. The kids are there. The kids are there.
Right.
They are so new. They were just purchased in 2020. Just deploy them.
Very well.
And we are good to go.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking to us. That's Eduji Kujo Tamaklo of the NDC. He's the newly appointed Director of Legal Affairs for the party. Before we go, President Akufo-Addo has pledged government's commitment to equipping the country's security setup to protect it from any terrorist attacks. The president said Ghana is not safe following recent attacks in neighboring countries such as Burkina Faso. He was speaking at the opening of the International Maritime and Exhibition Conference at Burma Camp in Accra, and he said government would also do all it can to safeguard Ghana's territorial waters.
I've been informed the transformative discussions originating from the previous conferences have contributed to the relative calm we're currently enjoying and experiencing in the Gulf of Guinea. Long may that continue. Ladies and gentlemen, the recent global economic downturn has necessitated the need for developing countries to engineer alternative and innovative solutions to propel their economies. Some small island developing states have been proactive in harnessing the potential of the $24 trillion United States dollar estimated ocean wealth to mitigate their social, economic, and environmental vulnerabilities. It is for this reason that I admonished Gulf of Guinea states at the third extraordinary Gulf of Guinea Commission's conference here in Accra last April to continue addressing maritime security issues to build a safe, secure, and prosperous Gulf of Guinea for sustainable development. This exhibition and conference is an important platform for maritime stakeholders, particularly naval chiefs, to discuss and strategize towards an effective way to create a more conducive condition to leverage effectively the blue economy for sustainable economic development using appropriate technologies. I consider the theme for this 2023 conference, consolidating the gains made in the Gulf of Guinea, the role of stakeholders in technology in sustaining a safe and secure maritime domain, as very appropriate and fitting considering the geostrategic importance of the Gulf of Guinea to global trade. The region is vital for African oil and other exports and imported goods, with an estimated regional gross domestic product of some 550 billion United States dollars annually. Equally important is the sea's contribution to communication and technology, as it holds strategic underwater intercontinental communication fiber cables. Naval chiefs, participants, and maritime stakeholders must thus find innovative solutions to strengthen further the gains made in creating a conducive environment for business to thrive. While past efforts have brought relative calm to the waters in our region, some entities continue to paint a gloomy picture of events in the Gulf of Guinea. The fact remains that with the concerted efforts of the Ghana Navy and other key maritime stakeholders, Ghana has not recorded any piracy or armed robbery incidents at sea since 2022. The fact that some ship owners reported a few unverified petty theft incidents at anchorages could not be equated to piracy in the context of international maritime law definition. As much as maritime rating stakeholder organizations contribute towards international shipping, they should be mindful of the implications of inaccurate reportage on a nation's ability to participate in global trade. I commend the excellent collaborative efforts between the navies in the region, our international partners and stakeholders, for the considerable reduction in maritime crimes, especially piracy. I believe the maritime security agencies attending this program would engage the same spirit of collaboration in the conference deliberations to tackle the high cases of psycho and illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing in this region. It is important to indicate that IUU fishing, for instance, is linked to piracy, human trafficking, and illicit drug and weapons smuggling. I thus urge the maritime law enforcers to consider using technology to break the vital link between these crimes and criminal syndicates. Ladies and gentlemen, technology has become a vital tool in our quest to sustain a safe and secure maritime domain. The critical challenge is that perpetrators of maritime crimes use sophisticated forms of technology which require a more innovative counter-advanced technology that gives enforcers a comparative advantage. Maritime security stakeholders must take charge of this domain in order to deny access to terrorist groups drifting southwards from the Sahel region towards the Gulf of Guinea. I must stress the need for multifaceted technological approach to deny unauthorized use of the underwater, surface, and above-water resources by criminals and economic saboteurs. Government recognizes the need for a well-resourced and technologically advanced Navy. We've thus commenced the equipping of the Navy with drones, coastal radars, and real-time surveillance and tracking protocols in order to improve maritime domain awareness. In addition, the government is committed to acquiring some offshore patrol vessels, fast patrol boats, and crafts for the Ghana Navy to augment existing platforms in order to improve physical presence at sea. Indeed, on 9 September, I'll formally commission in Secondee 4 patrol boats and 1 landing craft for use by the Navy.
So that's a promise there by the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who was speaking at the International Maritime and Exhibition Conference at Burma Camp in Accra. That would be it for Eyewitness News tonight. My name is Umaru Sanda Amado. I did this with Akosia Otre. Production by Beverly London, Kobna technical support from Daniel Kwashi, media support from Edwin Kwakofi. Return tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening. Have a good night. Right, let me say before I go that up next is the EPL Pitch Side podcast. It's a new program on Citi FM by the City Sports crew led by Benjamin Nketi. You want to stay tuned in and listen to that. It's a EPL Pitch Side podcast. Good night.